If we kill death so nobody can die, did death really die? Greetings Nerd Squad and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm your host Connor Monroe, and I was gonna walk into a bank to ask about life insurance, but after I did, I coughed, so I just left. Comics have a trope for killing off heroes just to bring them back a few issues later. Which of the supers that we know, or maybe don't know, can't be defeated by the peasant's word known as death? That's what we're exploring with today's list of the top 10 scary superheroes who can't die. Be sure you're subscribed if you haven't yet, because we have daily nerdy content for you to digest and binge while you self-isolate. But I mean, we all did that anyway, right? Now, let's get started. In at 10, Squirrel Girl. There are two types of people in this world, those who have heard of Squirrel Girl and those who don't know what true happiness really is. Suffering a modification in her genes for unknown reasons, Doreen Green gained squirrel-like abilities, most obviously in the form of a prehensile tail. But she was somehow not a mutant. She realized she could communicate with squirrels when she overheard one in her window. She saved it from being chased by a dog and they ultimately became friends. That squirrel encouraged her to use her powers to help people, but he also called himself Monkey Joe, so I don't know if he was a comedian or just stupid. Her first appearance was in Marvel Superheroes Volume 2 number 8 in 1991 alongside Iron Man, but only really got traction in the 21st century when fans went nuts for her. Get it? Nuts for her? Because she's a squirrel girl. Well anyway, due to her popularity and wholesome nature, there isn't really gonna be an opportunity for her to get killed off, especially when she's gone up against Galactus, Thanos, and Dr. Doom without a scratch. Unless we believe Rick and Morty, which says that if you overhear squirrels you're gonna have to leave the whole dimension. So I think that's really the scary part. She's probably in cahoots with the squirrels, toppling nations. You know. In at 9, Headpool. On Earth 2149, the reality was similar to that of the 616 universe we are familiar with only a few differences. One of them being Steve Rogers was Colonel America, and one of them being a literal zombie plague that turned all superheroes into zombies. Fairly topical if you ask me. Well, the Deadpool of this universe has another thing coming, since after a fight with the Silver Surfer he was brought to Earth 616 where he took out Jennifer Kale's magic. He was thought to have been killed when he got lured into the blades of a nearby skiff, completely obliterating him. But since he was the only one with the virus on this Earth, he was contained by armor. Deadpool was now only a head, but still managed to escape Armor HQ with the help of Simon Garth. Headpool is basically just zombie Deadpool's head, and the fact that this exists is so Deadpool it hurts. And the fact that he didn't die when reduced to only a head is something that would literally kill almost anyone else is proof enough that Headpool cannot be killed. The merc with half a mouth is still hopping around and gonna bust a cap in your ass because it's the only thing he can reach with the gun. Pretty funny, but still scary since, you know, it's a thing. It's a zombie head. Jeez. And it ain't Lobo. Let's face it, Lobo is one pretty scary looking dude. Well, first he was introduced as a villain in the 80s, he was revived as an anti-hero in the early 90s after his creators forgot about him. How can you forget about him? Lobo is one crazy bounty hunter, with muscles that are more ripped than my homework every time I told my teachers that my dog had eaten it. I didn't have a dog. And with the attitude and outfit to match. I think the scariest part about him though is just the hair. He even ended up joining the new Justice League at one point, becoming one of its founding members. Lobo probably has one of the coolest power sets. While it may not be super speed or the power of the gods, he can shake off blows from even Superman, taking planet-destroying attacks without a scratch. But he is also banned from entering both heaven and hell, making him functionally immortal. If you aren't allowed to enter the afterlife, I'm pretty sure you won't be able to even get the chance to. And honestly, I'm already banned from entering one of them, so all I need is the other one to hate me and I'm golden. I'll be in the same boat as Lobo. Just wish I had those muscles though. And at 7, the Eternal Warrior. Being named such because he existed prior to recorded history, the Eternal Warrior is one of 3 brothers who are also as ancient as my 12th grade contact teacher. Boom! I haven't let it go. He has defended Earth for thousands of years and has acquired a millennia of military knowledge, and more than just that, he has seen history unfold. Other than being immortal, he possesses increased strength, agility, incredible durability, and an incredibly impressive healing factor that allowed him to survive nuclear fallout. Within the Valiant universe that he was written into, there is no known way of killing him. He is sworn to protect the Geomancers to ensure their survival. These people have a special bond with the Earth, and there must always be one alive to protect it and speak for it. In more ways than one, the Eternal Warrior is the protector of Earth more than Hal Jordan or any other hero. As long as the planet exists, the Eternal Warrior will as well, which is pretty dope. When only the inevitable heat death of the universe can kill you? I'd take that. And at 6, Ghost Rider. Johnny Blaze agrees to give his soul to the devil in order to save his father's life. Because of this, at night, when he is around evil, he becomes surrounded in literal hellfire and his head becomes a fiery skull. First appearing in Marvel Spotlight number 5, Ghost Rider rides a fiery motorcycle and can launch blasts of hellfire from his typically skeletal hands. There have been many incarnations of Ghost Rider over the years, notably Johnny Blaze, Noble Kane, Danny Ketch, and Robbie Reyes. The fact that there will never not be a Ghost Rider serves as more of a permanent way of not being able to die, but that's in spirit. The whole making a deal with the devil and becoming a literal hellfire demon when around evil thing helps too, and is probably more along the lines of what was expected for this list, especially because who doesn't want to ride a motorcycle that cool? I remember in high school I wanted to get my motorcycle license instead of my driver's license since I could drive a motorcycle by myself faster than a car, but my mom wouldn't let me. Well, look at me now, Mom. On my own and unable to afford the test or even a damn motorcycle. Halfway through number 5, the Hulk. The Hulk is one bad mamma jamma, and the fact that he is made from radiation should remind you that there is no way of killing this guy. Bruce himself even said in the first Avengers movie he tried to kill himself as Bruce, but Hulk spit the bullet out. This is even further solidified by the Future Imperfect storyline, when Hulk is brought 100 years into the future and sees himself, still alive even after a nuclear war that had killed almost all of Earth's superhumans. This war, by the way, had also taken the world to the brink of extinction, meaning Hulk, or Maestro as he was known then, was one of the only remaining souls in existence. But I guess technically that can be said about all of us, even right now. This, in combination with Maestro absorbing the radiation from the nukes, giving him increased strength, proves to be too much for Professor Hulk. Maestro is only able to be destroyed by the same bomb that created the Hulk in the first place, which is honestly understandable, like when your parents say, I brought you into this world, I can take you out, even though they legally can't, but that's aside the point. If you can only be destroyed by the thing that created you, you will never be able to be destroyed again, unless time travel is possible, in which case this was, so. Yeah. And at 4, the Spectre. The Spectre is an entity who needs to bind itself to the soul of a human being. However, the human who becomes the Spectre must already be dead, which may defeat the purposes of this list if you think about it, but I'm talking about the Spectre itself, not the person it inhabits, so apples and oranges. The Spectre is omnipotent and immortal, having powers over reality, interdimensional travel, technically resurrection, and increasing to infinite size and a lot more that honestly doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But in honesty, it's comics. Not making sense makes it make sense. Just like that sentence. The Spectre has had many hosts over the years, Jim Corrigan, Crispus Allen, Hal Jordan, and Oliver Queen to name a few. The latter being in the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, where while Oliver Queen might have died, the Spectre itself is impossible to destroy, making him probably the most powerful being in the DC universe. I kinda wanna be the Spectre, that green cloak's kinda bomb. Not gonna lie. And at 3, Franklin Richards. Hey, it's Franklin. Franklin Richards is one powerful kiddo, like the son of a Karen who stepped on a Lego with a full shoe on, but who's crying because he broke the Lego powerful. The mutant son of Sue Storm and Reed Richards is one of the most powerful beings in Marvel canon. This Omega level mutant possesses the ability to completely alter reality, and that in a way makes him immortal. Having complete control over the fundamental forces of the universe is a pretty big power to have when you're a toddler who just wants chicky nugs and choco milk. His powers even allowing him to perceive future events. Sure, you could just push him out a window after he climbed up a tower, but hell, he'll just come back in a wheelchair and become king later on. What I'm saying with that analogy that is as good as the ending is that he would see it coming, and could just alter life so that it would never happen. Plus, he can travel through time. This kid can make a pocket universe under his bed sheets while he should be sleeping. The laws of reality don't apply to this kid, so you will never be able to kill him. He's just too damn powerful. He is literally God. And at 2, everyone on Earth 10011. Earth 10011 is also known as the Cancerverse, an Earth whose history is identical to that of the main Earth 616, but with the Avatar of Death being destroyed when Mar-Vell was on his deathbed. Using a ritual known as necropsy, they eliminated the Avatar of Death, making it impossible for anyone to ever die on this Earth. However, this doesn't mean that you stay in your prime forever. No, the Avatar of Aging, if that's even a thing, is still kicking, and you're gonna have more wrinkles than a Kardashian before she goes to see Dr. Fix Me Up. Death is literally dead. There is no way you can die on this Earth. That is all I can say about this. And that just proves my point. I wanted this to be number 1, but there is something more current that I feel will make more sense in this context. But like after this whole thing has died out, no pun intended, I guess it won't really make more sense. Whatever. Finally, in at number 1, Liesl Pon. Liesl Pon is one of the more obscure members of the Green Lantern Corps. I'd say honestly one of the most obscure. And while Liesl may not be able to be killed, the reasoning requires some explanation. Liesl Pon is a smallpox virus, being microscopic yet sentient and capable enough to wield the Green Lantern ring. It goes on missions that other Green Lanterns can't undertake, be it physically or biologically. To be honest, Liesl has played an integral role in various Lantern events, like in the Sinestro Corps War, where he helped to save Guy Gardner's life by defeating Sinestro's virus. Liesl cannot be killed because he's a virus, and technically a virus is not a living organism. Viruses are defined as organisms on the edge of life, since they defy all standard definitions of being alive. So while they're almost alive, they're not, and therefore cannot be killed in the same way. It can be destroyed, but it can't be killed, because technically it was never really alive. And I figured a virus was pretty topical for this list, so there you go. It might be cheating, but I don't care. You're welcome.
Number 10, Gohan. I know what you're all thinking. Gohan, not Goku. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, you might be thinking that Gohan is a weird character for me to have picked from the series. But just hear me out. While Gohan struggles to go Super Saiyan and unlock his full potential in terms of his power level, when he finally does, he is a force to be reckoned with. Not to mention a lot of the Saiyans have died multiple times in the series, and yet Gohan seems to survive many fights. Part of Gohan's armor comes from being close to Piccolo, who pretty much only dies as much as he does to protect Gohan. In other words, having Piccolo as a meat shield makes it pretty unlikely that Gohan will die in a battle should his green friend be around. Not to say that he's never died, because, you know, I mean he has. Number 9, Batman. While Batman does not have any actual powers, he still manages to be one of the most overpowered superheroes in comics. Why? Well, because he doesn't even need powers. The feats he has managed to accomplish without them prove just how OP he truly is. He manages to prove himself as Captain America's equal in the JLA/Avengers crossover, even managing to defeat him with deduction and words. He sacrifices himself for Gotham and appears to have been destroyed in the explosion at the end of the film Dark Knight Rises, but then JK, he survived. And in Dark Knight Returns, he takes on Superman and beats him. Batman is also always so insanely obsessed with being prepared that he is near impossible to defeat, making him often undefeatable and undestroyable. Even when you think you've got him right where you want him, he's probably just thinking the exact same thing about you. And he's almost always right. His plot armor guarantees it. Plot armor, the best armor, indestructible. Number 8, Wolverine. The amount of that Logan has gone through is astounding. Wolverine is a character that often just does not know when to call it quits. He has Terminator level staying power. Actually, maybe beyond Terminator. What am I even saying? Due to his insane regeneration and healing factor, he can survive almost anything. Even as old man Logan, he manages to take an impressive beating and still get up. As long as you give Wolverine something to fight for, he will keep coming at you, and he might even go feral on you. And even if you don't give him a reason, he just generally enjoys fighting. Beyond his healing factor though, he has something else working hard to protect him: his popularity armor. Potentially stronger than plot armor. I don't know. Which one's stronger? Number 7, Captain America. Captain America's bravery and leadership is truly what pushes him into overpowered territory. Sure, he's strong and noble. I mean, in Avengers Endgame, we even got treated to watching him fly around with Thor's hammer Mjolnir. But beyond that, he just doesn't give up. Which we also see in that scene when he painfully straps his shield onto his broken arm, basically using it as a splint. Ooh. If that isn't hardcore, I surely do not know what is. And even when he loses his strength after Red Skull uses the cosmic cube in the comics to alter reality, turning Cap into a weak old man, he still manages to whoop Red Skull's butt, even after Cap's had his strength just zapped away. Sure, he's had a lot of deaths in the comics, but all of them have been retconned and explained as either Cap was alive but in stasis, or Cap actually just faked his own death. So if he appears to die, I definitely would not trust it. When he appears to die, sure it'll happen again. Number 6, Wonder Woman. While Wonder Woman has died before, she pretty much always gets resurrected. Another hero who just can't stay down due to her popularity. Not only is she royalty, but she is also a goddess. If you're at a god level, by the way, you are definitely overpowered. And such is the case with Diana. CIRCE is actually one of the few that has ever been able to end Diana Prince, but as I said earlier, she still is sort of impervious to death as she's always resurrected. You may think that Diana's powers rely on her flash flashy accessories, but this is actually not true. Even without them, she has herself been imbued with powers of the gods, proving that there is truly only one Wonder Woman. Fellow Amazonian Artemis once tried to step in for Diana and take up the Wonder Woman mantle, but she fell in battle, apologizing to Diana for disgracing her name and proving that to be Wonder Woman, you have to be next level strong. Number 5. Jean Grey. Here I'm going to be talking about as Jean Grey as the Phoenix and both without the Phoenix. The Phoenix Force is actually so entwined with Jean, I don't think that it would ever actually let her die. It has saved Jean on more than one occasion and helps her to unlock her true potential, making her a scary level of powerful, especially if she turns dark. Still, even without the Phoenix Force, Jean can be terrifying. In the Battle of Atom storyline, a version of her appears under the guise of Lady Zorn and goes up against Emma Frost and her younger self. She handily defeats Emma in a psychic battle, leaving her to rightfully scream, "Why won't you ever stay dead?" In the end, only Jean can defeat Jean in this battle. Young Jean beats old Jean. Jean on Jean. Number 4. Nate Grey. I feel very sad about putting Nate above his mom Jean, because she's one of my favorites, but it's true. This guy is on a whole other level when it comes to anyone previously mentioned here. He is definitely one of the most powerful mutants to ever exist in the comics. Unrelated, I should also just say that I really love his tattoo. Should I get a Nate Grey tattoo? I mean, I definitely need an X-Men tattoo of some kind, right? Even when Nate Grey has died in the comics, his presence always seems to survive, which allows him to eventually reform. Telepaths may also be known in the comics as kind of weaklings, because, you know, they're squishy because of their lack of physical strength. But Nate has the ability to channel his telekinetic energy into himself and enhance his physiology, allowing him to even be strong enough to take on Ares in a fight. Yeah. And I think he only lost that fight because he wanted to. Number 3. Dr. Manhattan. The scale of Dr. Manhattan's powers is pretty next level. In a sense, he is God in the DC universe, as he is now responsible for creating the New 52 and the characters in it. He can alter matter on a molecular level, like he did when he destroyed Rorschach, just basically splatting him out of existence. Or exploding him out of existence? Either way, you know what I mean. Similar to Nate Grey, he can never seemingly die, as he could just regen himself as long as his consciousness remains. And I mean, how does one even kill someone's consciousness? Ghostbusters? Number 2. Sentry. I can't have part 1 of a list where we talk about overpowered superheroes and not include the Sentry. Dude's got the power of 1 million exploding suns up his sleeves after all. Beyond how insanely strong he is though, Sentry can also mess with people's minds. He has implanted memories before and was actually responsible for erasing everyone on Earth's memories of him as well. Though he kinda got some help with that one. Really, his only weakness is his agoraphobia and sort of himself, as his alter ego the Void is one of the strongest supervillains around, and without the Void, there is no Sentry. Number 1. Superman. While Superman may have died multiple times in comics, films, and TV, he can never, ever stay dead. He's one of the most iconic superheroes that we have in pop culture, and it is this that protects him from ever really going away. This is also a remarkable superpower for Superman to wield, as he has been around for a very, very long time in comics. And although his character has changed over the years, his core sense of self has always remained the same. He always seems to be fairly consistent in how he problem solves and what he stands for. Superman also has to be one of the strongest heroes around, and was known for being OP even before the term was coined. As the 1940 Superman cartoon would remind us, he's faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. I love old cartoons, they're so much fun.
Starting us off in at number 10, Hope Summers. Hope is the adoptive daughter of Cable, a character who first debuted in 2007 in X-Men issue 205. She was the first mutant born after the events of House of M and Decimation. Now because of this, she had a big old target on her little baby back, because she was a baby then, with Cable saving her, claiming that she was a messiah destined to save both mutant and humankind. Now Hope is capable of something called superpower manipulation. This means she can mimic other powers, activate the powers of others, and enhance powers. Plus, she's an Omega level mutant to boot. She got a major power upgrade during the Avengers vs. X-Men story arc when the character was bonded with the Phoenix Force, which gave her immortality. Up next, number 9, Mistress Love. Let's move on to a Marvel character cut from a very different cloth, a god. We're talking about Mistress Love, who debuted back in 1982's Defenders issue 107. The character is the physical embodiment of love, much like how Mistress Death is the physical embodiment of death. While we've never seen the full extent of her powers, this abstract entity is one of the universe's most powerful, and she can control emotions related to love with any being, even on a universal scale. Her powers are said to be stronger than Galactus or Odin, but not as strong as Eternity or Infinity. Also, fun fact, her gender and appearance are mutable, meaning she can also be depicted as a man. She often reflects the desires of those who see her. Up next, number 8, Moira MacTaggert. Moira is not just a hot scientist, people. This was big news in the recent House of X, where it was revealed that she wasn't just a human ally and a mutant advocate. Oh no, girl is a mutant too, people, and she's impressive as Moira's mutant powers allow for her to reincarnate, in a sense. She's a mutant with limited reality warping reincarnation powers. She has perfect memory and is able to hide her true nature to mutants and mutant detection devices. So far, she's lived 10 lives, having started her life again after she died, possessing full memories of her previous lives. When she returns to being in utero, she's fully sentient. So yeah, that is pretty darn impressive. Moving on to number 7, DC's Valkyries. Moving on from Marvel over to DC for this number, let's talk about a group of bad women, the Valkyries. While notably different than the Valkyries of Marvel fame, DC's Valkyries are still rooted in Nordic legend, being armored maidens who ride winged horses from a place called Asgard. They would first appear in a DC comic all the way back in 1946 in Comic Cavalade issue 17. And have appeared since with little consistency. In the Golden Age, they appeared as Wonder Woman villains, but now on Prime Earth, they are part of the same race as the Amazons. Regardless, they have always remained immortal beings, ones with superhuman strength and quite the talent for combat. Up next, number 6, CIRCE from Earth 2. Another DC character at this number. CIRCE, specifically the CIRCE of Earth 2, is immortal. This version, who debuted during the Golden Age in 1949's Wonder Woman issue 37, was initially a villain for Diana prior to being defeated by her. After her defeat, she would be taken to a place called Transformation Island, located on Paradise Island, where she was taught the ways of love and discipline by the Amazonians. CIRCE's immortality is rooted in her magic powers. She also has the ability to command Sorkan jewelry trees using chlorokinesis, and is capable of metamorphosis with the ability to turn humans into animals. She also has a killer jawline. That's a power too, right? In at number 5, THRENODY. THRENODY is Melody Jacobs, a Marvel mutant who first graced their panels in 1993 in Strife's Strike File issue 1. She's a necroplasmic energy vampire, empowered by necroplasm. She's capable of sensing certain necroplasmic energies that surround an individual when they are dying or near death. To her, she's enraptured by the scent of death and the taste of the energy. Eerie, isn't it? She can also manipulate said energy to absorb the remaining life energies that a dying individual is releasing, and then can convert them into explosive plasma or temporarily reanimate someone into a zombie. In other words, don't with her. She can create hordes of zombies if the energy is in supply. Now, because of these powers, she is also immortal, able to absorb the necroplasmic energy of her own death in order to regenerate or return to life. Up next, number 4, All-Mother Storm. This version of X-Men member Storm hails from Earth 20329, also known as Marvel's steampunk god world. Yes, that is a thing. This is a universe riddled by mutant gods, who eventually an evil Charles Xavier took mental control of. In this universe, Storm is an immortal god known as the Skybreaker and is married to Thor. When she was taken over by Xavier mentally, he caused her to create a massive drought. Luckily, she wasn't under his control for too long and would offer the other X-Men the ability to become immortal, turning Emmeline Frost Summers into an immortal god with a diamond body. I wonder who her parents are. All-Mother Storm has the same powers as her 616 counterpart, but with a divine twist, seeing that she is immortal and has the ability to bestow god powers and immortality onto others. And as she puts it, she's free forever from the pain, doubt, and agony of mortal life. Moving on to number 3, Donna Troy. Donna Troy, previously known as Wonder Girl, is an Amazonian who, after some fun retconning, was created by an evil sorceress to destroy Wonder Woman. Diana would find out about this, save the day, and then shield Donna from the truth of her origin by giving her false memories of being a normal girl who was rescued and raised as an Amazonian. Ah yes, gotta love a retcon. Donna would become a founding member of the Teen Titans and has long remained a part of DC's canon despite enduring her fair share of retcons, as we mentioned multiple times at this number. She was gifted immortality thanks to her Amazonian physiology. Amazonians, fun fact, can live forever, but can be killed in combat or by accident. And if you're part of the Amazonians of Bana Migdal, well, they lost their immortality when they broke apart from the original Amazonian group. So, with Donna Troy being on our list, it's probably no surprise that our next number found her way into our top 3, and at number 2, Wonder Woman. In general, Wonder Woman is a character who has had a tough time getting killed thanks to how immensely strong and powerful she is. For the record, on Prime Earth, Diana Prince has been bestowed with divine empowerment, gifted with various powers by the gods of Olympus. She's a demigoddess with longevity that allows her to live much longer than the regular human being. But she ain't immortal. That being said, she is a character who has had multiple iterations of her created in the past that exist on other Earths that are, in fact, immortal. This is the case on Earth 2, Earth 508, aka DC Super Friends, Gal Gadot in the DC Extended Universe, a slew of negative Earths for the Dark Multiverse, many of which she's murdered in despite being immortal, and even the Wonder Woman television series starring Linda Carter. Diana in general is also one of DC's iconic trifecta, meaning she's got a decent amount of plot armor that prevents her from being killed off at the whims of DC's publishers. And hey, that counts for something, right? And finally, in our number 1 spot, Jean Grey. I mean, there's a slew of jokes that could be made here. Girl has died again, and again, and again, and again. But there's also a lot of truth to it, thanks to her being an Omega-level mutant and one of the most powerful female superheroes out there. Jean, without the Phoenix Force, is incredibly powerful, but when acting as the Phoenix Force's avatar, that power multiplies significantly. She's capable of manipulating matter and energy on a subatomic scale using her telekinesis. She's capable of resurrection, which is largely to thank for a handful of her resurrections. This makes her immortal to an extent. When she does die, she won't stay dead. Case in point, let's count those deaths and resurrections. Or at least some of them. The first happened in Uncanny X-Men issue 101 in 1975 when she first encountered the Phoenix while trying to telepathically maneuver a space shuttle with her teammates on it safely back to Earth. She crashed and seemingly died, but turns out the Phoenix Force saved her, resurrecting her in that very same issue. Once it corrupted her a little later on, she took her own life in Uncanny X-Men issue 137 in 1980. After that, Madeline Pryor, her clone, showed up, Cyclops fell for Madeline, they had a kid, and then the real Jean came back in 1985 with the reveal that the Phoenix had actually made a copy of her, and put her real body and self into an egg underwater, a Phoenix egg, in which she was reborn again and absolved of the planetary genocide that the Dark Phoenix version of her committed. Convenient. In the early 90s, Jean would be killed by a Sentinel, but then resurrected 2 issues later. Then, during Grant Morrison's run on New X-Men, he killed her off when the Phoenix Force bonded with the real her, and in order to stop her, Magneto used an electromagnetic pulse to give her a stroke, with Wolverine then stabbing her in order to save her from an agonizing death. I mean, that sounds pretty agonizing to me. She would be resurrected again in 2005 in Phoenix Endsong, in which her soul went into a dimension known as the White Hot Room and ascended to another plane of existence. So technically she was dead, but not really. From there, whether she was dead or not, she would be MIA for over a decade, eventually coming back in 2018 in a story titled Phoenix Resurrection: The Return of Jean Grey. Alright, there we have it, friends. There's a lot of women that we did not include on our list, so if you folks want to see a part 2, be sure to comment below. If you dug this video, spread that love, hit that thumbs up button, and be sure to share this video with a friend. And while you're at it, if you haven't already subscribed and become a member of the Nerd Squad, be sure to do that before you go. In the meantime, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.